You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Today we have a Training Thursday show ready for you. And the reason why I put this one in this week is because I know there's so many people out there who are ready to take back their health and their body in 2017 starting next week. So there's going to be a lot of choices for you. Do you join a gym? Do you start taking up spin classes because you've heard that they're fun? Do you get more into yoga? Do you do boot camps? Do you hire a personal trainer? Do you hire a nutritionist? What are the things that you believe are going to get you to your goals the fastest? And I want to help you with that today because I've literally worked in all of these industries really since, around 1998. So that's a long time. And at that time, I had the really privilege of working with some amazing instructors, some not so great, and the same goes for gyms and studios. So let's go through that right now. I want to get right into it. It's going to be a quick show today, and I just want to give you the breakdown. So let's start with gyms first. When you're looking at gym membership versus spin versus yoga versus boot camps versus personal training, which is what I'm going to talk about today, and there's all sorts in between. I know that, like boxing gyms, and we'll talk about that. So when you join a gym, let's just call it like a big box gym, meaning like they have fitness equipment. They also have classes. They may even have some spin in there, yoga as well. Well, the nice thing about that is that gyms typically are your least expensive option. Of course, working out at home, just purchasing some home gym equipment is the cheapest, right? And you can look just at my stephencabral.com/store. I don't sell the equipment, but I give you links to my favorite brands. You can always do that. And I do recommend that. But I like gyms. The reason why I like gyms is because, of course, again, there are some really expensive gyms, especially in Boston, New York, Chicago, major cities. But a lot of gyms just cost about, $20 a month. And for $20 a month, $5 a week, that's like less than $1 a day, right? So you can get a lot of benefit from that. And a lot of these gyms offer classes. So let's say, I've always wanted to do a little yoga. Well, you can try it at a gym. I've always wanted to do spin. Well, again, that gym might have that. So that's great. So I like that. I personally find gyms pretty motivating. I love seeing the energy of people working out around me. Now, I know some people find that demotivating because if they're not coming from a place of being in shape, they might say, well, all these people around me are in shape and I'm not, so I'm intimidated. Don't feel that way. I honestly, there's always going to be a few bad eggs in every crowd, but for the most part, again, even way back in the day when I first started as a personal trainer or a fitness technician, even before that, fitness technician means you're not even certified. You're just kind of offering advice to people on the fitness floor. That was way back. That was when I was 16, 17. I was doing that in gyms. And you know what? I didn't pass judgment, and most people don't. They love to see you there. They love to see you putting in the hustle. So don't feel like you can't go because you're not in your best shape. That's what the gym's all about. It's there to get yourself in great shape. So the issue, though, I'll give you the pros and cons today is when you join a gym, you're just a number. You really are. That's why I stopped consulting and really helping out a lot of gyms is they're too corporate, most of them. It's just numbers in, numbers out. They try to get more members every month that leave, and you really are just a number to them. There's no accountability, so I don't love, that. Meaning if you go to the gym, great. If you don't go to the gym, well, nobody notices. It's one of those things. So I feel like if you're trying to achieve a specific goal, you might need a little bit more accountability. And the other thing I don't love is if you're only able to go before 9 o'clock in the morning or after 5 o'clock at night, there's just massive crowds. And for you to get on the equipment that you would like to use in your program can be a real challenge. So just keep that in mind. Something to think about, not talking you out of it. So I'm going to give you pros and cons to everything, and then I'm going to let you decide because you have to do what speaks to you. And by that, I mean you have to do something you're going to stick with. And the reason why gyms don't stick for a lot of people is there is no accountability. It is super crowded in January. And you know what? It's sometimes you just get lost in the shuffle, and that's a tough thing. All right. So spin classes. What is spin? Spin is basically getting on an upright bike, but it's a special bike. It's called a spin bike. And you are cycling in a room. Spin classes, people love spin classes for the most part because there's great energy. There's great music. Oftentimes there's like lighting involved with it. Like it is a dance party on a bike. You know, I mean, that's really what it is. People are having a lot of fun. They're sweating. They're getting in a great workout, typically an hour workout. And it can be absolutely fantastic and a great way to get yourself in shape. Now, it's not true interval training. So I don't like when people say that spin classes are interval training. They are and they're not, meaning like they do high intensity intervals, but there's never usually any real downtime, meaning like you go from pedaling really hard to just pedaling a little bit lighter. So, you know, yes, it is interval training, but it's not exactly like true anaerobic interval training. There's definitely aerobic based work in there. Does that mean it's a bad thing? No, not at all. I'm not saying that. I just want to let's call a spade a spade. Let's not try to make spinning into everything, right? It's not. You simply can't do high intensity interval training for 50 minutes. Like that's not humanly possible. You're not doing 60 sprints. Like no human is doing 60 sprints for a workout. That's not legitimate. That's not real. So just think of it that way. It's a great overall workout with some aerobic and anaerobic based work in there. It is fun. It is high intensity. And you know, it's moderately priced. So meaning like you could do a class pass or you could do maybe $20 to $30 per class and you can get a great spin class in there. Or you can buy membership and then you can get it for a couple $100s a month. You can get into a great spin place. So what are the negatives? Well, the negatives are it's the same workout. It's the same modality, which is getting on an exercise bike, a spin bike, each time. So there's a lot of repetitive motion work, and repetitive motion can, in spin's case, tighten up your hip flexors, tighten up your hamstrings, tighten up your IT bands, tighten up your calves. So now, can you get around these things by learning better form? Yes, but it's still repetitive motion. You were doing thousands, not hundreds, thousands, probably over 10,000 repetitions in one particular motion. So you need to be vigilant about foam rolling your hips and your IT bands, those internal rotators. Make sure you do some just great warrior type stretches where you're opening up those hip flexors, stretching your hamstrings. And the other thing I say is that it's not a complete workout, but it's not meant to be. Meaning like this is not a shot at spinning because I think spinning is fantastic, but it's not a complete workout, meaning like you should be doing 2 other days at least of some resistance-based training, which is squats, lunges, step-ups, deadlifts, shoulder presses, chest presses, rows, pull-ups. You know, those things have to be a part of your workout to make sure that your body stays balanced, that you do not become quad dominant or any of these specific things. So again, in my opinion, ideal work week, we're kind of blending it, but I'll talk about that. So spin can be a great, let's say like 2 times a week thing that you can add in there. I think that would be fantastic. Okay, yoga is up next. So what is great about yoga? So many amazing things about yoga is that it can be relaxing or invigorating depending on the type of yoga that you choose, because not all yoga is the same. Now, when you first hear about yoga, you think it's all the same, right? But no, hatha yoga or slow, gentle yoga is more breathing-based relaxation. That's what I recommend. It really is. And the reason is I try not to make yoga an actual workout in terms of physically getting someone's body in shape. What I'm trying to do is that's a soft workout modality versus the hard workout modalities like a boot camp, a CrossFit, those types of things, right? Or even a spin, right? So you want to balance the body. That's how I look at it. But you know, you can do a form of Ashtanga yoga and you can do other forms of yoga that actually can be a complete workout. Like they can be a real workout. So I'm not going to discredit that at all. And yoga is actually something that you can do every day or, 4 or 5 days a week. You absolutely can. So I think that's great. The only issue I have with a lot of yoga classes is that they're 90 minutes. Now, doing yoga for 90 minutes, is that bad? No, but it's not approachable for a lot of people who are trying to do it before work, after work, or during their lunch break. We need to make yoga classes more like 40 to 60 minutes. And I love yoga, so that's why I'm saying this. We need to get it out more to the general public. So we have a lot of health practitioners listening to the show. And what I would say is, and I would challenge you, try to find 45 to 50 minute time spans for people to do yoga. The reason why I say that is that I've worked with, hired, consulted with hundreds of different health professionals. And this is one thing I teach them is that you need to be able to get people in and out of a workout within an hour. Okay. Really, really important. It's the reason why we do 45-minute sessions at my 2 studios is because it's a good time frame. People are in and out. They can do it on an hour lunch break, whatever it might be. Think about that same modality as well. Meaning like there's not that accountability. So the accountability comes with all of these things like gyms and spin is find a workout partner and go to those classes with those people, right? Go to the gym with a workout partner or spin with a workout partner. Same with yoga. So then that gets the accountability back there. Because if not, again, you're part of a class. Like I've been to yoga classes where there's 50 people in a class. Like again, you are just awash in a sea of different people in that class. And it's just not the same type of accountability. So get a workout partner, or you could even do one-on-one yoga sessions with a practitioner if you feel like your form even needs a little bit of work. I think that's fantastic. All right, 2 more to go. Boot camps. How do I feel about boot camps? Boot camps is my least favorite. It really is. And again, there's so many people I actually work with, coach, that have boot camp based gyms or studios. And I don't think it's bad. I'm not saying that because there's a lot of great instructors that are doing it properly. The problem is there's so many that are not, right? So it's kind of like, it's just like anything. You have to find the right coach for you. So I love boot camps because they're high energy. I like them because they're pretty moderately priced, meaning like you instead of a personal training session, which I'll talk about next, a lot of times you can get in for like $20 or so. This boot camps would be included in like boxing gyms as well. And there's a lot of camaraderie that can be found, like meaning like you can be cheering on people through their workout like a CrossFit. I love that, camaraderie. People say CrossFit's like a cult, but it's not a cult in a bad way. Like again, if you feel that way, it's people who are just really dedicated to it. And I think that's amazing. They're one of the first people to really be able to do that. So I give them a lot of credit for that. So the issue I have with boot camps is that there's so many repetitions per exercise because a lot of time things are timed rather than for reps, or you're always trying to outdo yourself and get that next personal best, which is great. I do that myself and I do that as I teach other personal trainers and for clients as well. But here's the thing. There has to be a periodization model, which means like we're going for personal best, ramping up a little bit each week. But then after 4 to 6 weeks, we do an unloading week. It's a very light week. And then we start to ramp back up again with a new program, right? So you have to understand that there's just too many injuries. I see too many people with just these spine-based issues, lower back injuries, and chiropractors are actually doing really well because of these boot camps because people are getting injured, and a lot of chiropractors actually open up inside of these boot camps. So something to think about. Here's how I think of it. Now that I'm in my 30s, I'm saying to myself, I need to figure out what I can do to work out for the rest of my life. And I just don't see how crushing your body and your joints is going to allow you to do that for the rest of your life. In your 20s, you think that you will live forever and that your body will live forever. But as you get to your 30s, you're like, you know what? I've got 20 years of weightlifting or so under my belt. How can I keep this body going? How can I keep it strong and injury-free so that I'm not going through surgery or all these things for the rest of my life? Because I know how I feel now is what I want to continue on. But if you're not feeling well now, imagine what you're going to feel like in 20 more years. So start to just be cognizant of that. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so I like boot camps because the high energy, the camaraderie, moderately priced. Just watch out for those, repetitive motion-based issues. Maybe do boot camps in conjunction with yoga so you can kind of balance the two. And definitely not 2 boot camps 2 days in a row. Maybe every other day. All right, start to think of that. Now, personal training. So personal training I've always loved, right? Why would I love personal training? It's because of the personal one-on-one attention that you can't get anywhere else. And when I say personal training, it could be personal training for anything. Like it could be personal training for, let's say, in yoga or martial arts or, whatever it might be. I like it because personal training is typically all-inclusive as well, which means they're going to give you a stretching program. They're going to probably give you a nutrition program, or at least hopefully they are. They're going to be doing not just your weigh-ins, but weigh-ins are great, right? If you're trying to lose weight, you want to weigh less on the scale. It's not just about the scale, and that's why with a personal trainer, you typically have your body fat done as well. And I think that's fantastic because that can be very motivating. Let's say you lost 8 pounds in a month, and actually when you do your body fat composition, you put on 2 pounds of muscle. Well, and that can absolutely happen in the very beginning, right? That you're not adding 2 pounds of muscle every single month after like a year of training, but you can and will most likely in the first month or two. So now you say, I actually lost 10 pounds of body fat, put on 2 pounds of muscle. That's why my body's starting to look so much better, so much more transformed. So I like that. What's the only downside of personal training? It's just a higher cost. That's basically the bottom line. But I like to tell people this is that why not see a personal trainer maybe once a week? And then that personal trainer, a lot of them will oftentimes give you a program then you can do at your own at the gym. So now look at this. So you have a program to do at the gym. You can go to a personal training studio, meet with a personal trainer there, then go to your local gym. That's a lower cost. And now you have a program to follow given to you by a professional. There is some accountability, even though you're only seeing the personal trainer once a week, because you have to check in with that person, right? So nutritionally, you have to eat better. You have to do your workout because they're going to check in on you, hopefully. And you could say, you know what? This is my, true belief is that if you work with a personal trainer once a week, twice a week, whatever it might be, then you can also develop a plan. You say, you know what? I want to get into martial arts, or I want to get into boxing, or I want to get into yoga. And they'll say, okay, great. Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, we're going to do your resistance workouts. And the other days could be a spin class. They could be a yoga class. They could be a Tai Chi class, whatever it is. And then you'll build one personalized program that's been customized for you. So, of course, most people listening to this don't live in Boston, so I'm not going to be able to help them individually. Of course, if you live in Boston, we'd be happy to help you. But the bottom line is this. You can find a great personal trainer by, one, asking for a referral, by two, also looking for people that are certified by the National Academy of Sports Medicine or the American College of Sports Medicine or the National Strength and Conditioning Association. So NASM, ACSM, and NSCA. And I'll link those up in the show notes today because I want to make sure that you find something great in your local area. So those are my modalities. Those are what I look at, and everything kind of be lumped into that. Now I know there's extras. I know there's additional ones. There's American Ninja Warrior training centers and all that. And again, they all kind of fall into that boot camp type thing, which is great. Again, but what I'm saying is this, is that you can actually have it all. And that's what I like now. I'll do some indoor rock climbing. I'll do martial arts. But again, I'm doing 2 to 3 weight training workouts every single week for sure. And that's where I want you to start. Then add in your yoga, then add in your spin class, then add in your boot camps, all of those things. And I really believe, and this is what I'll end with right now, is that you just need to find something that's going to motivate you, not just in the short term, but in the long term, right? So sometimes it starts with a coach. Sometimes you just have to find yourself a workout accountability partner, like 2 people that have the same goal that you're not going to give up on each other. They're going to push each other when one person's having a little bit of an off day. If you do that, I think you'd be far more successful in achieving your goals. And the very last thing I'll say is this, is that your workout today to achieve your goals does not have to look like your workout that it's going to be a year from now, right? Sometimes when you are looking to accomplish something, it has to be front loaded with a little bit more work and a little bit more of maybe the things that you would not love doing in order to achieve the goal and then be able to maintain it with other fun stuff from there. So I'll talk about that on future shows. Hopefully today's show did help. And again, if you have any questions, you always can just email in, or I should say write in. Just go to StephenCabral.com/Ask Cabral. It's the only place that I can take your questions. So unfortunately, I can't take direct messages on any type of social media. I get hundreds a day. It's just not possible for me to read through all of them. And so just go to StephenCabral.com/Ask Cabral. I really want to answer your questions, and I'd be happy to do that every weekend on our Cabral House Calls. Thanks again, everyone, for tuning in. Take care. Did you know that the body really only becomes sick or imbalanced in only 2 ways? Over time, you become deficient in vital nutrients, and you also accumulate toxins internally and from the environment. As those nutrients diminish and you increase your total toxic load, your body then begins to show the first signs of dis-ease. It's actually quite predictable, and the good news is that if we know how you began to fill up that proverbial rain barrel, we also know how to empty it to begin the healing process. I was fortunate enough to learn this ancient healing process from my mentor after suffering from debilitating diseases for close to a decade. It was only when I began to implement these techniques did I finally overcome my illnesses and go on to live a life of energy and vitality that I now enjoy. I'd like to share with you now what I discovered after traveling all over the world and how to combine the best of ancient healing wisdom with state-of-the-art science. Allow me to teach you exactly how I've been able to help over 250,000 people to empty their rain barrel and begin to transform their body and lives into what they've always hoped they could be. To get your copy of the international bestseller, The Rain Barrel Effect, simply go to StephenCabral.com/rain barrel.